First tonight, a man known to police is in custody after a woman's lifeless body was discovered in the early morning hours at her Ross Corner apartment. Plus, the community still in distraught after the body of 12-year-old Adrielle Moxie was discovered earlier this week. Tonight, educational officials are weighing in. And then the recent spike in senseless killings of innocent victims taking community outrage to the next level. Advocates urging government to hang those responsible for heinous crimes. These stories and more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. One man is in custody tonight while two others are assisting police with their investigation into the country's latest homicide. Here's what we know so far. Police were alerted to a disturbance in the early morning hours at an apartment on Ross Corner. Upon arrival, officers witnessed two men, relatives of the victim, attacking another man, who, according to authorities, is not a resident of the home. Officers quickly intervened and defused the situation. Police say two male relatives reported that when they arrived at the residence, they found the suspect inside the home along with their female relative, who was unresponsive. Superintendent Audley Peters provided additional details from the scene.
Following that diffusion, they were led to a southwestern bedroom where they discovered a female lying on the ground. When they made checks of her, she was unresponsive. EMS was contacted, and on their arrival to the scene, they examined this female and pronounced her lifeless. At the moment, we are early in our investigations.
Now, there was a high presence of police officers on the scene. Superintendent Peters explains why.
The reason that you have so many officers on the scene here is because the commissioners decided to cause a robust set of officers to be on patrol during the late hours. And within our community, which we are responsible for, we have officers on patrol as well. And so that's why you would find quick responses as well as a large number of officers on patrol.
Now, as news of the shocking homicide spread throughout the Ross Corner community, residents are weighing in on the tragedy. Police say 72-year-old Vernencia Butler was found unresponsive shortly after 3 a.m., triggering a wave of grief and disbelief across the neighborhood. A resident who knew the victim described her as a sweet, humble lady, a sentiment that reflects the deep loss felt by those who live nearby.
She was a leader. She used to pray for persons. She used to help them, encourage them to do good. If you're unemployed, she would tell you, show you help and to do better for yourself, because in life, it's not always going to be good. It's not always going to be bad, but you have to keep praying and pushing, and that's what she always did. Encourage persons to pray, push, and do better.
Now, this resident who wished to remain anonymous says he works in the area and expressed similar sentiments.
She can't give you anything. Even the basic someone's walk on the road, if they come and ask her for something to eat or whatever, and she don't have it, she go to the same little store right there and tell them, man, give them whatever they want to eat, and then when they come home, I will, pay for it and what's not. Nice lady, man.
Now, outrage mounting in the Ross Corner community following the alleged rape and death of an elderly woman in her home in the early morning hours. Advocates are pushing government to define a Privy Council ruling on what constitutes the worst of crimes, a decision that in part led to a halt in capital punishment. All this as calls for justice for victims grow louder. Devato Emmanuel has the story.
We need swift justice. Yes. I believe in support and is calling on that the law of the land be enforced. And if the law of the land is hanging, then hang them. Do your due diligence, do everything that needs to do, and hang them high.
Activists not holding back as they gathered outside the Ross Street home of 72-year-old Vernencia Butler. The group of women calling for justice and demanding government establish clear criteria for capital punishment. This call to action comes after police discovered Butler's lifeless body in the early morning hours. According to family members, she was allegedly raped before her death. The tragic incident occurred just days after the body of 12-year-old Adrielle Moxie was found in a bushy area just feet away from her home. The two gruesome cases have left the nation in shock and sparked fresh debate about how to address the surge in violent crimes.
What is the worst of the worst? So what I'm proposing now for the government, get a case, get a serious case that happened in this country and deem that case as the worst of the worst, and let's have a guideline to work by. Because the problem is we don't have no guideline to work by because there's no worst of the worst.
Prime Minister Philip Davis recently addressed the issue of capital punishment, saying that while hanging is still within the law, no recent cases have warranted such a sentence. Here's where political activist Maria Daxon comes in. She's recommending government explore other means for capital punishment.
Bring in the lethal injection. Bring that in. We need to enforce our laws. The Privy Council, they're on the other side of the world.
Thank you.
They don't understand our pain.
Thank you.
They don't understand that the women them in our country are being raped, abused, cut up, chopped up. Children are being raped and abused. They don't understand that. They don't have that in England like that any longer. We need this government to bring forth our laws.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
Meantime, police are also investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a 21-year-old female who was found hanging from a sheet inside a home located Colony Village off Prince Charles Drive. While details are limited at this time, police say the unresponsive victim was discovered by her boyfriend shortly after 9 p.m. on Friday. Police will continue their investigations, and we will provide details as they become available. Tonight, the Ministry of Education is speaking out against another shocking discovery earlier this week. The discovery of 12-year-old Adriel Moxie's body through a track road near her home. It's a story Our News has covered extensively. And while many have spoken out throughout the week, the ministry's education director says it's something that is hit close to home. Our Joshua Williams reports.
Bahamians around the country still dealing with the shocking death of 12-year-old Adriel Moxie. The preteen was found dead in bushes just feet away from her home on Wednesday. Police say she was wearing only a shirt and had a white cloth tied around her neck. The tragic incident was horrifying for the nation, leaving many asking, how could this have possibly happened? Among those raising questions is Education Director Dominic McCartney-Russell.
To be quite honest with you, I was distraught. This one hurt to the core. This hurt to the core because these are our children. You know, I am the director of education, but I consider all of the children in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, who I'm responsible for, my children. And so, you know, we were praying that we would find her. You know, when I looked at her, she's a tiny little thing, and I just, a tiny little baby. And so I was very distraught.
Russell visited Anatole Rogers School the morning following the discovery, the institution Adriel attended. She says those affected receive professional counseling.
You know, I wanted to encourage my team. I wanted to lend my support to them and let them know that everybody is grieving with them, you know, because this is one of our children, and she is a young Bahamian child. And so we wanted to be there for the team and let them know that we support them. And we also wanted to talk about her because that was a part of the therapy as well, and speaking with the principal and speaking to some of the staff members because she was quite popular on campus.
The incident leading social media users to chastise parents for allowing children to walk home alone after school. The education director making it clear that her encouragement to parents is in no way belittling Adriel's mother's efforts, but she has this word of caution.
If children have to walk home, that they should walk home in groups. They should not walk home by themselves. And, time change. And so because of that, it gets darker quicker. And although our after-school programs may end at 4, sometimes, like you said, parents do have to work. And so they have to ensure that a responsible adult is able to come and either pick up that child or that the children walk in groups.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks so much, Joshua. Well, Free National Movement leader Michael Paintard is supporting the push for capital punishment after Senate President Tilshel Adderley called for it to resume following the death of 12-year-old Adriel Moxie. Adderley strongly calling for the resumption, saying criminals must know the country takes justice seriously. Paintard says the opposition's only concern is ensuring the guilty is 100% guilty.
As long as we are able to definitively determine that the accused is in fact guilty of the worst, we ought to follow the law. This is very straightforward.
The issue was put to Prime Minister Philip Davis, who said the government's focus is on prevention versus punishment. To that, Paintard says, while the primary approach ought to be prevention, he reiterated that a strong message needs to be sent to the worst of the worst.
It can serve as a deterrent, but it is also a punishment. And it is not a cruel and inhumane punishment because the state is carrying it out. What we are having at the street level is a number of persons who are executing street justice in the absence of our system to dispense justice, and we don't condone that. And so we believe that we must act. Given the challenges in our criminal justice system, and this is a critical point, we must also be certain that those that are being accused and prosecuted are the correct persons. And that's why we need honest gatekeepers at all levels.
Well, when our news weekend comes back from the break, residents of Black Point Exuma say they are ready for a major economic boost. Hear why they support the new Rosewood Exuma development set to break ground soon. The details on the other side of this break.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Welcome back to our news weekend. Rosewood Exuma, a new multi-million-dollar resort, is expected to open its doors on Sampson Key come June 2028. Since the announcement of the project, residents throughout the communities, particularly in Black Point, the nearest key, have expressed their overwhelming support of the development. Our news team visited that island recently, where several residents shared their hopes and expectations for the project.
Well, the island itself, it's growing. People graduating every year. People want to come back home and work. So we need jobs. We need living facilities. If it's like a mini hotel, maybe like a motel, or people that work.
And I think it's gonna help, especially for the younger kids. If they need to find something to do, I think it's gonna help the younger kids a lot because they could come back home and they could help build up the island, and that's what we really need as well.
I'm 100% down with it. I feel like it will bring more jobs to the island, and more our locals will be able to have more things to do because a lot of us around here are not really working like that, and they can bring more money to the island and throughout the Keys.
These entrepreneurs say they believe the development will create a domino effect across the Exumas, providing opportunities across various sectors and generations.
If it do come, we're going to probably need taxi drivers, we're going to need a bigger airport, probably more buildings. People are going to have to build more apartments, people are going to need vehicles to rent, so it's going to be a good thing for the island.
It'll bring boost for the community of Black Point, not only Black Point, but the whole Exuma Keys at large.
Developers have shared with Our News that each step of the project will be developed within the laws of the country. Residents say they're confident that their beautiful home will be protected.
I don't think it will be, that much of a concern once, everything is done by the book and relates to, how things should be done. I think we shouldn't have a problem.
As to the project's developer and founder and CEO of Integra Group, Felipe McLean, while residents say they believe in his vision.
He seems fair enough to understand the needs and the wants of the people. So if he come with that type of attitude with the needs and the wants of helping the people and helping the community in Black Point, I think we should give him a chance for whatever project he wants.
He comes and he says he's going to get the job done, and I believe him. And so far from what I've met and what I've seen, I believe he can do that. So any little new news, he comes and he posts it and he brings it and he let the people know he comes and let the people know, gather everybody around the community, and he not only voices his opinion, he asks everybody for theirs as well.
A lot of basketball was played last night, and we introduce you to the newest class of the Bahamas Sports Hall of Fame. All that is up next on our Sports Weekend.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Good evening, I'm Tej Adderley, and we are back with our Sports Weekend. Last night was a big one for Bahamian hoops. VJ Edgecombe and the Baylor Bears played at Bahamas. Here's how they did. They fell to the Tennessee Volunteers 77-62 last night in the final of the Bahamas Hoops College Tournament. VJ had an efficient scoring night, dropping 20 points on 8 of 16 shooting and making 3 of his 6 3-point attempts, but it wasn't enough to get the win. Chaz Lanier led Tennessee with 25 points. Meanwhile, the Bahamas senior men's national team also hit the hardwood last night down in Havana. Team 242 fell to Cuba 76-62 in FIBA America Cup 2025 group play. Tavario Miller led the team with 17 points and 8 rebounds. Rashard Davis had 17 and 4 as well. Now, there's no time for them to lick their wounds. They'll play Team USA in Washington, D.C. on Monday. Be sure to check with our digital pages and newscast for the results from that one. Before we go, since 1989, the Bahamas Sports Hall of Fame has honored our country's top sports heroes. The 2024 class was enshrined last night.
Sports have a unique way of teaching us resilience, discipline, and the value of community. Those lessons shaped me, not just as an athlete, but as a leader and a servant of this nation.
That's Prime Minister Philip Davis welcoming the 2024 Bahamas Sports Hall of Fame class. Over 30 athletes from many disciplines were personally and posthumously honored by the Governor General, Dame Cynthia Pratt, and Sports Minister Mario Boleg. The women's softball team that won a bronze medal in the 1981 World Games was the centerpiece of last night's ceremony. The Governor General was a key member of that team and was honored along with her teammates.
Once again, let's give a rousing round of applause to our Governor General, Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Cynthia Pratt.
The Governor General's always handing out awards. Must be great to be on the receiving end. Before we go, Prince Straughn and the Boise State Broncos are playing for a playoff slot right now, and Buddy Hield and the Warriors hit the court at 8:30. We'll get into all that tomorrow night. That's a wrap for sports on this Saturday evening. For our Sports Weekend, I'm Tej Adderley.
Thanks so much, Tej. Well, still to come, it's another chance to win a brand new electric vehicle courtesy of Our News and Easy Car Sales. Stick with us.
This holiday season, Our News and Easy Car Sales want to put you in a brand new electric ride.
Each week, tune into Our News at 7 and 7:30 for clues to questions about easy car sales, electric vehicles, and Generation E. Head over to our website, ournews.bs, for your chance to answer weekly trivia and enter to win.
It's simple. Answer correctly and you're automatically entered for your chance to win a brand new electric vehicle.
Welcome back. Well, cooler temperatures creeping in this week. As to how long they will last, well, meteorologist Greg Thompson joins us from the Weather Center with the answers. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Megan, and a happy Saturday evening, everybody. Beautiful day around the islands. Temperatures managed to get up into the 70s. Felt very comfortable on the outside. So it was a good day to get outside. We woke up to some 50s and 60s earlier, and looks as though we're going to do that one more time, and we're going to keep temperatures in the 70s for at least one more day. 70 degrees is our current temperature with a few clouds on the outside. Your winds still out of the north-northwest at 6 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 68. Temperatures around the islands right now, it's 67 in Freeport, 69 in Marshall, Babaco. We pick up 70s, Alistown, Bimini, Nicholstown, Andros here in the capital. 71 in Great Harbor Key and over in Governor's Harbor. Central Bahamas, 72 in Kemps Bay. 68, Arthurstown, Cat Island, Georgetown, Exuma, Deadman's Key, Long Island, all 71. Coburn Town, San Salvador, 73. And into the southeast Bahamas, 76, Duncantown, Ragged Island, 71s in Colonel Hill, Crooked Island. Delectable Bay, 72. Abrahams Bay, 77. Matthewtown, Inago, and our very good neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands. You guys are 79 at this hour. Satellite and radar composite. Frontal boundaries that move through the capital as well as the central Bahamas. Now across the southeast Bahamas. Two fronts, actually. They will eventually merge and slide towards the southeast. Some cloudy conditions across that area, but the central and northwest Bahamas really enjoying some lovely weather. Almost cloud-free across the northwest Bahamas. That's courtesy of a high-pressure system that continues to build across us. Nice dry air mass in place, and those temperatures will once again take a dip into the 50s and 60s, but we should start a warm-up by the beginning of next week. Future forecast showing the moisture associated with that frontal boundary now across the southeast Bahamas still staying in place through Sunday, and then we expect what's left of the front to actually back up towards the north as a warm front, so we could see some cloudy conditions across the central and southeast Bahamas by about Monday time frame. If you plan on doing any boating or beaching, nice out there, just be careful on the Atlantic side. We still have some rip currents in place. Northwest and central Bahamas, northeast to east winds, 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the open waters. Low tide is at 8:21 tonight. Your high tide takes place at 2:21 in the morning. For the southeast Bahamas, we have a caution flag in place for you guys down there. Northeast to east winds, 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 6 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, beautiful conditions continuing with us as that high pressure system remains in place. One more day in the 70s with temperatures once again waking up tomorrow morning 50s and 60s, but we start a warm up by Monday. Temperatures will be back into the 80s and your low temperatures at night into the 70s, and then we start a warm up by the end of the week. Temperatures will be back into the mid 80s. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
Thanks so much, Greg. Well, one lucky Our News viewer will go into the new year with a new ride thanks to the Easy with Our News promotion, where we've teamed up with Easy Car Sales to put one lucky winner in an all-electric BYD 2024 Yuan Pro SUV. Last week, our Marlena Leonard spoke with marketing coordinator at Easy Car Sales, Celicia Elabute, to tell you all about Generation E and how there's an electric vehicle for everyone. Tonight, we're introducing you to some of those customers to hear firsthand why you should be the next one to become a member of Generation E.
LaShawn Knight owns a BYD Yuan Plus. She says not only does she love the ease of charging the vehicle, but the variety of experiences it can offer.
I definitely love the performance of the car. Being able to move from eco to normal to sport is definitely a plus. When I'm on the highway, it's sport all the way. The charging is definitely convenient. Being able to plug it in and just let it sit overnight. In the morning, it's done, and I'm ready for the week.
Sandor Saz has been driving electric for 4 years, starting with a Nissan Leaf and recently upgrading to a 2024 BYD Dolphin.
As a young person, it really helps me to save money. I'm not having to buy gas, and so I like EVs for a number of reasons. One being, the biggest being the environmental benefits. So driving an internal combustion engine vehicle emits lots of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere that causes global warming. I'm sure you've heard of that. But driving an EV offsets that greenhouse gas. The battery lasts for the life of the vehicle now. So that's a major step up in EV technology.
For young entrepreneur Benjamin Davis, he's taken his passion for electric cars to the next level. He now has 12 EVs for his company, Drive Green Car Rentals.
We found out doing research, electric cars are so much cheaper to operate, not only because you don't have to spend any money at the gas pump, but when you look at your servicing and then your day-to-day long-term maintenance, your costs are so much lower. People don't even believe me when I tell them that the maintenance for the most part is just changing your tires, changing your wipers, and making sure you have some washer fluid in the car. They're like, that's it? What about fuel? What about oil? What about spark plugs? I said, there's none of that. But what happens if your transmission goes? There's none of that. What happens when it rains? I said, these electric cars, for the most part, can take more water than your car can probably take.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Now for your chance to win that brand new electric BYD 2024 SUV, be sure to head on over to ournews.bs to enter. There you'll find the Ride Easy with Our News banner, answer the latest question correctly, and you're automatically entered to win. And with that, we thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepherd. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.